We're live from New Delhi. You're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Lipakshi Khurana, coming up in the next 30 minutes. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to address Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit in Tianjin, also to hold bilateral meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin. At least 11 UN personnel detained by Houthi rebels in raids on UN premises in Sana'a and Hodeidah. UN chief condemns the detention, calls for their immediate and unconditional release. North Indian hill states of Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand under red alert for heavy rainfall. Union Home Minister to chair review meeting in J&K on flood relief measures. Czech Republic's Barbora Krejcikova saves 8 match points in an epic 3-set battle to reach quarter-finals of US Open, while Carlos Alcaraz Fritz eases into the last 8. Well, on to the details now. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will address the plenary session of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit in Tianjin on Monday. Prime Minister Modi, in his address, is likely to outline India's approach to fostering regional cooperation under the SCO umbrella. Following the SCO summit, Prime Minister Modi will also hold a bilateral meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi met a series of world leaders on the sidelines of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit reception in Tianjin on Sunday, where discussions focused on strengthening bilateral ties across defense, trade, energy, and culture. Kyrgyz President, in his conversation with Kyrgyz President Sadir Japarov, the Prime Minister described the discussions as very productive, adding that both nations share a robust partnership and will continue working to strengthen developmental cooperation. Prime Minister Modi also held a meeting with the Uzbekistan President Shavkat Mirziyoyev, where he noted the dynamic partnership expanding across culture, economy, and people-to-people ties. With Armenian Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan, Prime Minister Modi described the talks as very good interaction and emphasized that India-Armenia ties are warm and growing, rooted in friendship and mutual cooperation. The Prime Minister also exchanged views with Turkmenistan President Sardar Berdimuhamedov, saying they discussed diverse issues of bilateral and regional importance. Meeting with the president of Lao PDR, Thongloun Sisolit, Prime Minister Modi stressed the value of cultural and trade ties, noting that closer friendship between our nations is greatly beneficial. Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and President Xi Jinping met in Tianjin and reaffirmed their shared commitment to peace along the border, a cornerstone for advancing bilateral ties. With last year's troop disengagement holding firm, both leaders expressed satisfaction over the calm that has followed and pledged to pursue a fair and mutually acceptable resolution to the boundary question. Let's look at this report and the highlights of the meeting.
Prime Minister Modi met President Xi in Tianjin during the 25th SCO summit, marking a key geopolitical moment amid rising US trade tensions. It is PM Modi's first China visit in 7 years and their first bilateral in 10 months. Both leaders voiced optimism since their last meeting in Kazan.
They spoke about their respective understanding of principles for bilateral relations, which it is expected will help guide the future work of the two sides as we work on other aspects of the relationship. The two leaders also shared a consensus on the fact that differences should not be allowed to be turned into disputes.
The two principals called India and China partners and backed peaceful dispute resolution. They welcomed border troop disengagement and discussed restarting flights and trade, signs of easing post-Galwan tensions. They supported recent progress by special representatives and agreed to strengthen their efforts.
The boundary issue also figured in the discussions. Both leaders took note of the successful disengagement last year. I want to highlight or draw your attention to the outcomes of the 24th round of talks between the special representatives of India and China on the boundary question. They encouraged the efforts of the SRs.
A stable relationship and cooperation between India and China and their 2.8 billion peoples on the basis of mutual respect, mutual interest, and mutual sensitivity are necessary for the growth and development of the two countries, as well as for a multipolar world and a multipolar Asia, befitting the trends of the 21st century, said the Ministry of External Affairs in a statement. Both sides stressed on strategic autonomy and resisting outside influence. With 20 leaders at the SCO summit, the forum is a key counterbalance to Western dominance, and India's active role shows its intent to engage both East and West. PM Modi and President Xi emphasized boosting people-to-people links through flights and visas, building on the Kailash Mansarovar Yatra restart. On trade, they stressed strategic cooperation to expand investment and reduce deficits, recognizing their economy's global impact. Both leaders agreed to deepen cooperation on terrorism, fair trade, and global challenges. PM Modi also met senior Chinese Communist Party leader Chai Chi to advance bilateral goals, with Xi affirming China's commitment to stronger ties. The Modi-Xi meeting isn't just diplomacy, it is a strategic signal that India and China can collaborate without external influence. Bureau Report, DD India.
Well, the 25th Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit is underway, bringing together 20 world leaders in a powerful display of diplomacy and strategic dialogue. As the SCO expands its membership and influence, DD India's Rahul Upadhyay brings us more about its origin and history.
The northern Chinese port city of Tianjin is at the heart of global diplomacy as it hosts the 25th Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit, bringing together 20 world leaders from across Asia, Europe, and beyond. Among the key figures attending the summit are Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Russian President Vladimir Putin, underscoring the summit's strategic significance. Held under the resonant theme Promoting the Shanghai Spirit, SCO in Action, the summit marks a pivotal moment for multilateral cooperation. Over the next 2 days, leaders will engage in high-level dialogues, bilateral meetings, and joint declarations aimed at strengthening security frameworks, boosting trade, and addressing pressing global challenges. The key agenda and priorities at the China's SCO summit are strengthen partnerships on law enforcement and counterterrorism, joint action against extremism and cross-border crime, promoting trade between member states, encourage multilateral trading systems, and advancing regional transport connectivity and digital economy collaboration, encouraging innovation in health, environment, and urban modernization. The Shanghai Cooperation Organization, or SCO, was established on June 15, 2001 by China along with Russia, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, and Tajikistan. India, Iran, and Pakistan were granted the observer status initially, but in the year 2015, SCO decided to admit India and Pakistan as full members, and the two joined SCO formally as full members in 2017. In 2023, Iran was granted the status of a member state at SCO summit that was hosted by India. Last year on July 4, 2024, Belarus was admitted as a new member. As per the SCO Charter, Russian and Chinese are the only two official languages of SCO. As Tianjin plays host to this landmark summit, the world watches closely. With expanding membership and ambitious goals, the SCO continues to evolve as a powerful platform for regional stability and cooperation. With Amit Mukherjee, Rahul Upadhyay reports for DD India.
While moving on, in Jammu and Kashmir, security forces busted a hideout and recovered a cache of war-like stores in Kupwara district. Based on specific intelligence input, a joint search operation was launched on Saturday and Sunday by Army and BSF in general area Kotnala of Avra Bol. During search, security forces busted a hideout and recovered a huge cache of war-like stores, including one pistol for UBGL, hand grenades and various types of ammunition. Further investigation is in progress. And some weather updates from across the country now. Himachal Pradesh, that has already suffered immense loss of lives as well as properties due to torrential rains, is very likely to witness extreme rainfall in isolated areas as the state's meteorological department has issued a red weather warning for several districts for the next 48 hours. Well, red alert has been issued for Mandi, Kangra, Sirmaur, Una, Hamirpur and Bilaspur districts for September 1st, resulting in few spells of extreme rain in isolated parts of these districts. Red weather warning has also been issued for Chamba, Mandi, Kullu and Kangra districts for September 2nd, while an orange weather warning has also been issued for Shimla, Una, Bilaspur, Hamirpur, Kinnaur, Lahore and Spiti and Sirmaur districts, along with another yellow weather warning for Solan district for the same day. The other Himalayan state of Uttarakhand also braces for heavy rains. The weather department has issued red and orange alerts for most of state for the next few days. Following the warning, Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami on Sunday directed the officials to remain alert round the clock. And India's Home Minister Amit Shah is visiting North Himalayan city of Jammu today to assess the situation in the aftermath of the heavy rain and flash floods in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir that left a trail of death and destruction. He will also conduct an aerial survey of the flooded areas, including Katra and the cloudburst-hit Chisoti village in Kishtwar. Well, Indian Air Force continues to undertake humanitarian assistance operations in flood-hit Pathankot and Gurdaspur districts of Punjab. The air effort enables safe evacuation of 11 civilians, delivery of 2,150 kg of essential relief supplies and the respectful retrieval of mortal remains from Madhupur barrage, ensuring their dignified return. Well, these sustained efforts reflect the Indian Air Force's unwavering commitment to humanitarian values and its credo of service to the nation. And the Ministry of Home Affairs has constituted interministerial central teams for Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Punjab and Jammu and Kashmir to assess the damage caused by heavy rainfall, floods, flash floods, cloudburst and landslides. And still to come in this edition of DD India Live. US judge blocks deportation of unaccompanied Guatemalan children. US-Venezuela tensions rise amid US naval build-up in the southern Caribbean. And we'll show you how Ganesh Chaturthi is being celebrated not only across the country but across the world with zeal.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Lapakshi Quran, and moving on, Yemen's Iran-aligned Houthi rebels raided United Nations offices in the Yemeni capital Sana'a on Sunday and detained at least 11 UN personnel. Well, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres called for their immediate and unconditional release, confirming that 11 UN personnel had been subjected to arbitrary detentions. The Houthis were already detaining 23 UN personnel, some since 2021 and 2023. In January, the Houthi rebels detained 8 UN workers. Also, the Houthis' claimed arrest made in June 2024 included an American-Israeli spy network operating under the cover of humanitarian organizations, allegations emphatically rejected by the UN. A decade of civil war has plunged Yemen into one of the world's worst humanitarian crises, with more than half of the population relying on aid. The arrest last year prompted the United Nations to limit its deployments and suspend activities in some regions of the Arabian Peninsula's poorest country. Yemeni security source said that Houthi authorities had arrested dozens of people in Sana'a and other areas on suspicion of collaborating with Israel. It came after Israel's strike on Thursday that killed the Houthi Prime Minister Ahmed Ghalib Nasser al-Rahawi along with other officials. Meanwhile, in Israel, calls for the release of hostages held by Hamas terrorists are getting louder. The hostages' families and their supporters gathered in Tel Aviv to protest. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's security cabinet is discussing the next stages of the planned offensive to seize Gaza City, which he has described as Hamas's last bastion. A full-scale offensive is not expected to start for weeks. Israel says it wants to evacuate the civilian population before moving more ground forces in. And U.S.-Venezuela tensions are rising amid a large buildup of U.S. naval forces in and around the southern Caribbean. U.S. Navy-guided missile destroyer USS Sampson docked near the entrance to the Panama Canal. 7 U.S. warships along with 1 nuclear-powered fast attack submarine are either in the region or expected to arrive soon, bringing more than 4,500 sailors and Marines. U.S. President Donald Trump has said that combating drug cartels is a central goal of his administration, and the military effort aims to address threats from those cartels. But it is unclear exactly how the U.S. military presence will disrupt the drug trade. Among other things, most of the seaborne drug trade reaches the United States via the Pacific, North Atlantic, where the U.S. forces are, and much of what comes via the Caribbean arrives on clandestine flights. And Guyanese voters head to polls on Monday to decide if President Irfan Ali's People's Progressive Party retains its slim 33-seat majority in the 65-member National Assembly. While results of the polls are expected by September 3rd, powered by offshore discoveries made by ExxonMobil, the South American country, home to some 800,000 people, has recorded double-digit economic growth in the past 5 years. The People's Progressive Party narrowly clinched 33 of 65 seats in 2020 and looks poised to lead again while strong Indo-Guyanese support and opposition coalitions break up. Also, the opposition parties have formed alliances to challenge the PPP, pledging to channel more oil wealth to low-income communities. The A Partnership for National Unity and Alliance for Change, former coalition government partners, are running separately this year. Meanwhile, popular businessman and former PPP donor Azharuddin Mohammed could be a wild card. And U.S. District Judge Sparkle Suknanan on Sunday halted Trump administration deportations of 10 Guatemalan unaccompanied minors in the age group of 10 to 17 years, already boarded onto planes, and potentially hundreds more in government shelters after their lawyers made a pre-dawn emergency appeal. The new order covers hundreds in U.S. Department of Health and Human Services custody. The children were offloaded and returned to Office of Refugee Resettlement shelters. DOJ's Drew Ensign said parents requested returns by Guatemala contested by lawyers. Guatemalan President Bernardo Arevalo aided repatriation. The complaint cited violation of protections, risk of abuse and torture. And a powerful 6.0 magnitude earthquake struck Afghanistan on Sunday, killing at least 9 people and injuring more than 25 in the Nangarhar province. According to the U.S. Geological Survey, the epicenter was located near east-northeast of Jalalabad and had a shallow depth of 8 to 10 kilometers. The tremors were felt as far away as Kabul in Pakistan's capital, Islamabad, which is around 370 kilometers from the epicenter. Nangarhar province had also experienced flooding earlier over the weekend, which killed 5 people and caused significant damage to crops and property. And on to some sports news now. Two-time Grand Slam champion Barbora Krejcikova staged a miraculous escape to advance to the last 8 of the U.S. Open in New York. Krejcikova saved 8 match points in an epic 3-set battle against Taylor Townsend. She prevailed 1-6, 7-6, 6-3 in a remarkable tussle to set up the last 8 meeting against American Jessica Pegula. The unseeded Czech was headed for the exit after Townsend moved to the brink of victory, but 2024 Wimbledon champion Krejcikova dug herself out of the hole to seal the match. Carlos Alcaraz marched into the quarterfinals after overpowering France's Arthur Rinderknecht in the straight sets. The 5-time Grand Slam champion was made to work hard in a tight first set, but eventually won 7-6, 6-3, 6-4. The Spanish second seed faces Czech Jiří Lehecka in the next match. American Taylor Fritz swatted aside Czech Republic's Thomas Mačák 6-4, 6-3, 6-3 to book a spot in the quarterfinals of the Grand Slam for the 3rd consecutive year. Last year's runner-up, Fritz is also the nation's last hope of ending a 22-year major drought since Andy Roddick held aloft the silver trophy in 2003. And the Athletics Federation of India announced the squad for the World Athletics Championship in Tokyo from 13th to 21st of September. The 19-member contingent will be led by reigning world champion Neeraj Chopra, who will defend his crown for the first time, and will have 4 representatives in the men's javelin throw event. Chopra will be joined by Sachin Yadav, Yashveer Singh and Rohit Yadav. Triple jumper Praveen Chitravel, distance runner Parul Chaudhary and 5,000-meter specialist Gulveer Singh also sealed their places. And the celebrations for Ganesh Chaturthi commenced not only across India but across the world with much zeal. Devotees in large numbers took part in the festivities by bringing Bappa home and indulging in his divine energy. In Sri Lanka, the Ganesh Chaturthi was celebrated by the Indian community with great devotion. The Indian Cultural Association in Maharashtra Mandal, in collaboration with Swami Vivekananda Cultural Centre, organized the Pran Pratishtha of the Ganesh idol in Colombo, after which cultural programs and various rituals were performed. Well, that's all for this edition of DD India Live. But let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India across the world at the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Lipakshi Khurana from Alphasair in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.